Newsline TV. My name is Grace and this is Wezesha Biashara Show. Wezesha Biashara Show is a show where we'll teach you how to acquire, manage and preserve your wealth so that you can acquire financial freedom. In the past few episodes, we've been learning how to manage our finances, been learning how to acquire wealth. And we say the first step of acquiring wealth so that you can become financially free is by making sure that you, first of all, pray and tithe. Secondly, we said you must learn how to pay yourself. By paying yourself, we are saying you should save the money that you get. At least 20% of your gross earnings should be put to your savings account. And thirdly, we say that you need to manage your expenses. Come up with a budget, stick to it, so that you're able to manage how your money is spent throughout the month. In today's episode, again, we're very privileged to have a financial consultant with us, Lucy Jine from Navea Capital. Lucy, karibu.
Thank you so much, Grace.
And today is an interesting episode. We're going to talk about how to multiply this wealth.
How to multiply wealth, yes.
Because we have acquired it. At the
Yes.
savings
Yes.
point, you've
Yes.
been, saving all this money. You have it in your account. How do you multiply it so that it makes you now to become financially free?
Thank you so much, Grace. Once again, I'm honored to be here to speak to us about the process of wealth creation. And just like you have rightly said, wealth creation has got 3 stages. The stage 1 where you acquire the wealth from the little finances that you have. And you start that by saving, paying yourself first, and you put that money in a saving. And now after you have saved the money, you need to think, what do I do next? Because in the savings account where you're putting the money, you cannot get any return that you can really say will enable you to be financially free. If you have been saving your money in a bank, you are lucky because this year, at least the government has put the interest rate cap, and the banks have all been authorized to pay every saver at least 7%. Previously, even the bank that paid you the best would give you probably 4%. Anything from 2, 3 to 4%, a bank is paying you very well. Now that kind of return, you can't say is a return that will create for you the financial freedom we are looking at.
What kind of options exist? 7% you're saying is not very good.
Yes.
I agree with you. Given that the interest is at 14% base. So what options exist for me as an individual to be able to invest my money?
We are not saying that 7% is really bad. All we are saying is that it may not take you to that point of financial freedom as quickly as other options that are available. And so when we start looking at investments, we want to, at wealth multiplication, we want to look at what is it that then you need to do. And the first step that you need to think about is to invest as step number 1 in wealth multiplication. And when you start thinking of investing, there are many options that are available.
Exactly.
And what I would like to tell our viewers is that when you start thinking investing, you need the guidance of an expert in investments. Don't just run and start investing without proper guidance, because all of us are different and we have different reasons for wanting to invest. So at Navea Capital, we give investment guidance to people who are looking to multiply their wealth. We sit with you, we analyze what are your investment goals, because your investment goals might not be the same as mine. For me, probably my investment goal, which I will equate to my financial freedom, is when I have passive income of, say, 50,000 shillings every month. And even if that one comes tomorrow, I will say I am financially free. For another person, that point may be different. Maybe to you, financial freedom is when you can educate your children in a government school without strain, or financial freedom is when you are living in your own house without paying rent. All of us are different, and we clarified that when we talked about the difference between financial security and financial freedom.
Right.
So when you come to us and you want investment advice, we will sit with you and analyze what are your investment goals, and then we will recommend the suitable products. For those that will be able to help you get into them, we will do that immediately. For those that we are not, because we don't do everything, then we will refer you to experts that can then work with you so that you avoid being conned your hard-earned savings. So we want you to avoid making mistakes where this amount that you have been paying yourself so consistently, then you give it to someone and it just goes just like that. But basically, if I want to tell you what are the available options that people can think about in investing.
Right.
And the first very obvious one is investing in land.
Okay.
Yes.
Just before we go into that, where we talk about the investment options, what should I look at or consider before I decide? What factors should I look at to make a decision on what options I should go for?
The options the first thing that you need to consider is, do you have enough seed? Because what you have been paying yourself, what you have been putting aside in a savings account is your seed capital. So is it enough? Like for example, somebody maybe has saved for only 1 year and now they want to think of investment. Is it enough? Do you need to save for maybe 2-3 years so that by the time you're thinking of investing, you already have a good lump sum? That is the first consideration. The second consideration that you need to make is, how much time do you have to invest or to wait? Because for an investment to give you a return, it must be subjected to time. And I would like our Kenyans to understand this very, very clearly. There is no shortcut in wealth multiplication, in wealth creation. I know we have all these things that are going round about getting money from, I don't know, a lotto, getting money. I'm not saying they are bad. But what I want to tell our Kenyans is that the discipline of creating wealth requires time and requires patience. There is nowhere you will put your money today and tomorrow you're saying you're financially free. So you must consider, how much time do you have? Like I started by saying, if you're 20 years old, you have maybe another 20 years to wait, another 30 years to wait. If you're 50 years, you only have 10 years to wait, or 20 at most. So you need to consider the timelines that you have. The other thing that you need to consider is, what are your investment needs? Why really are you investing? And here, probably somebody has been working in employment, they've been paying themselves, and the reason why you are saving is because ultimately you want to get into business. So you want to consider, are you ready to get into business? And what kind of business are you getting into? Have you done enough research? So all those are things that you need to consider before you start thinking, going to withdraw now your nest egg and to go and invest.
Right, viewers, investment is a process.
Yes.
Wealth creation is a process, it's not something that happens overnight.
Yes.
It's something that you have got to go through, and we are saying that once you have acquired your wealth, you have your seed capital, you need to consider, is this seed capital enough? You need to ask yourself, what do I want to do? What is my ultimate goal with this money? What do I want to achieve? You need to look at what options, how much time do you have? If you're 50 years old, your investment options are not similar to a 20-year-old.
Exactly.
So you need to consider all these factors before you actually take your hard-earned cash and put it somewhere in the name of investment. In our next episode, we shall look at the various investment options that exist and teach you how to identify the investment options that work for you. Until then, goodbye.